We have over 50 people on the chat, logged into the Zoom, with more coming in. So we'll make a couple of brief announcements since the veterans should be arriving just about 10 o'clock Central Standard Time. Wanted to thank you all for coming on Zoom. I'll be your Zoom host for today for this section of the ceremony. My name is Mel B. I'm one of the community outreach coordinators with Homes for Our Troops. Today I'm joined by my two teammates, Cassie Woodhouse, who is also reporting in from Massachusetts, where I am, who will be running our tech for today, and community outreach manager, Shaquanta Bailey, who is on site in Spring Branch, Texas, who will be the live host for the key ceremony today. We are here on Veterans Day to celebrate the key ceremony for Army Sergeant First Class Gabe Monreal. Very excited about that. This is home number 312 for our organization, which they will be talking about later in the ceremony, with over 40 homes in the state of Texas. So we're super proud to be doing that. We have joined forces with HEB on this house, so you'll be hearing from them as well. Wonderful partnership to forward this gorgeous home. As you can see a little bit in the background, the home, and if you've been in the area, have driven by or attended our ceremony before, we are home.
Everyone. Good morning, good morning. At this time, we are going to line the driveway and greet the family as they arrive by escort. Please grab a waving flag or one of the large flags from the PGR to hold for the escort, and the family will be coming soon. Thank you.
As Q just explained, the attendees are getting ready to greet the escort. Hopefully we'll be able to get a little bit of that. It is quite a ways up the driveway, so we will stay tuned. They should be arriving shortly, and if we don't catch the escort, we will catch the family coming into the tent and taking their seats. He will be arriving with his wife Rachel, their children Matthias, Layla, Noah, Isabella. We're really excited about that. Everyone's just getting emptied out now, and veterans should be along shortly. So thank you for joining us today, and we'll talk to you in a few.
I'm on your side. When you climb up on the stallion, you are bound to let him take you for a ride. All the way, I know I'm still wild enough for you, and you know you.
All right, everybody on Zoom, the crowd was just getting warmed up. So that means the veteran should be right around the corner. I think I heard some sirens in the distance, so we should be able to see the family shortly.
Come with me. You come with me.
All right, we got a front row seat, folks. Hopefully our screen doesn't stay frozen. We are at the mercy of technology, so all right.
Come down the middle. Watch out. Coming down the middle.
I'm going to give the first responders a moment to come and join us. Okay, good morning, everyone. At this time, please stand for the presentation of the colors by the Canyon Lake High School JROTC and the singing of the national anthem by Hospital Postman Fleet Line retired Secretary Brown on our home improvements.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. On the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rackings and the bombs were singing. Gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the and the home of the brave.
It is my distinct honor and privilege to welcome all of you here as we celebrate Veterans Day and officially hand over the keys to a specially adapted custom home to one of our nation's heroes, Army Sergeant First Class Gabe Monreal. My name is Shaquanta Bailey, but I go by Q. I am the Community Outreach Manager at Homes for Our Troops. As we gather here on this Veterans Day, I would first like to acknowledge and thank every soldier, sailor, airman, Coast Guardman, and Marine who has ever worn the uniform of the United States of America. And to all those Marines out there, congratulations on celebrating your 245th anniversary yesterday. I would also like to acknowledge and thank all of the Gold and Blue Star families who made the ultimate sacrifice. We keep in our thoughts and our prayers the fallen, the missing, and all those who are currently serving in harm's way. Our veterans protect us and they give us the freedom in the greatest country on earth. We must honor them, we must remember them, and we must appreciate them. At Homes for Our Troops, we honor those who serve not just today on Veterans Day, but every day. And we have remained committed to our mission of building homes and rebuilding lives. And although COVID has changed the way that we do our events, we continue to get our veterans into homes. Our office has been in regular contact with local health officials in the areas that we are building, and we are following all the safety protocols set forth by those entities. This event was approved for a limited capacity by the Como County judge, and we have included precautions such as social distancing of seating, encouraging people who are sick and high-risk populations to stay at home, extra hand washing stations, hand sanitizer, safety signage, and all attendees are required to wear a mask at our events. If you have any questions about the safety precautions that we have in place, please connect with me after the ceremony, and I will be happy to answer any questions you may have. Today on this Veterans Day, we have the honor to welcome home Army Sergeant First Class Gabe Monreal and his family to their new home. We will start off the ceremony by thanking some key people. Then I will briefly speak about our mission, introduce our speakers, concluding with Army Sergeant First Class Gabe Monreal. The first thank you this morning goes out to the San Antonio Patriot Guard Riders, the Como County Sheriff's Department, and the Spring Branch Belle Verde Fire Department for escorting the Monreal family here today. Thank you so much. I would particularly like to thank the law enforcement and first responder community for supporting Homes for Our Troops and for keeping our country safe. Thank you. Thank you to the Canyon Lake High School, JROTC, and veteran Cedric Brown, owner of Hill Home Improvements, for leading our opening ceremony. I think the ROTC had to leave, but I just want to take a moment to acknowledge them. They come out to support all of our events here, and they came out today even when they have school to support Homes for Our Troops. Thank you to our amazing builder, Matt Christian, project manager, Justin Boyd, their families, and all of the staff at MW Christian Builders who worked hard to prepare this home for the Monreal family. This is the 9th home that MW Christian Builders has built for Homes for Our Troops, and we are very fortunate to have such an amazing builder with us. Thank you to all of our corporate partners, and a warm welcome to the ones that are here celebrating with us today, including our national corporate partner, Oakcraft, who provides all the cabinets and the homes across the country, and also Cafe Olay by HEB, who has fully furnished this home for the Monreal family. They have not seen it, so today is a very exciting day. I also would like to just acknowledge 2 of our local fundraisers that are out here celebrating with us today. River Chase Veterans Association and You, Me, in the RV. And finally, this is my last one. And finally, I would like to say thank you to the entire city of Spring Branch, Como County, and surrounding areas, including all of the volunteers who came out. My trustee volunteers, Travis, Gennaro, Irma, and Logan. Thank you guys for coming out. Thank you for everything that you do for Homes for Our Troops and for supporting. For those of you that are unfamiliar with our organization, Homes for Our Troops is a national nonprofit dedicated to building and donating specially adapted custom homes to severely injured post 9/11 veterans to enable them to rebuild their lives. Homes for Our Troops is not federally or state funded, so we rely on the support of patriotic and generous supporters like all of you here today to financially support our mission. We are a highly rated 4-star military charity by both Charity Navigator and Charity Watch. Since our inception, nearly 90 cents of every dollar spent goes directly towards program services supporting veterans. We were founded in 2004, and I'm happy to say, as of today, we have completed 312 homes across 42 states. This is the 44th home that we've completed here in the state of Texas. We have built more homes in Texas than any other state. And yes. In addition, we currently have 62 active projects across the country, including 12 right here in Texas. So look out for those other events and come join us at those as well too if you can. At Homes for Our Troops, we recognize the sacrifices that have been made by the men and women of our armed forces, which is why we see our work as a moral obligation and not charity. And although we have completed Sergeant First Class Monreal's home, our work is still not done. There are over 1,000 service members across the country who have returned home with life-altering injuries, and they are also in need of a specially adapted home. We have many more homes to build. Therefore, I'm encouraging you all to join our mission and get involved. And one way that you can get involved is by joining our monthly giving program, Operation Lasting Support, also known as OLS. With as little as $15 a month, you can help us to continue providing mortgage-free homes for our nation's injured veterans. You may think that $15 is too little to make a difference, but by joining our monthly giving program, you can help us build 1 or 2 more homes this year collectively that were not originally possible without your help. That means that a veteran that's waiting for his homes to be built next year gets moved up to this year, and we're able to accept someone new into the program. For those of you that are here in the audience, you can sign up back there with Irma that has the blue hat. You can sign up with her and she will help you out. For those of you who are viewing at home on Zoom, you can visit our website at www.hfotusa.org. Go to the Get Involved tab and click the Donate Monthly link. Let's continue to build homes and rebuild lives. With that being said, Monreal family, on behalf of everyone back in Massachusetts at our headquarters office, let me be the first to say, welcome home. Take time and enjoy your new home. Fill it with love. Let it be a place of peace, less challenges and comfort, and a place that you guys are all proud to call your forever home. And with that, we have a few other people who would also like to welcome you to your new home. Up first, doing a special presentation, please welcome the District Director from Senator Donna Kelly's office, Kelly Folis. The District Director for Senator Donna Campbell's office, Kelly Folis, and the District Director from Representative Kyle Bierman's office, Joyce Yanuzzi.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Joyce Yanuzzi, and I'm here on behalf of Representative Kyle Bierman, who is joining us on Zoom, but wanted to make sure that he had someone here to represent him on his behalf.
Hi, I'm Kelly Follis. I do represent Senator Donna Campbell. Senator Campbell is the chairman of the Texas Senate's Committee on Veteran Affairs and Border Security. She's really sorry not to be here today. She is actually at an event in New Braunfels where a funeral home in New Braunfels is rededicating their flagpole to the 4 Marines that they last served, who all gave their lives just as Sergeant First Class Monreal was prepared to do. And we cannot thank you enough, and Senator Campbell sends her best.
We are so very honored to be a part of this joyous celebration as Sergeant First Class Monreal and his family receive the keys to their new home today. And we appreciate beyond measure the Homes for Our Troops making this great day a reality, and for making sure that the sacrifices of our greatest heroes are never forgotten. Monreal family and Sergeant First Class Monreal, you served with honor and sacrificed so much in order that we may proudly stand with you today as a free America. And our thanks for your bravery and heroism in Afghanistan can never be overstated. And I hope this home gives you the peace as it allows you to move and live in freedom. And this beautiful home expresses only a fraction of the gratitude due to you and your family but may it always remind you that you are a hero and there are countless people forever thankful for your service. And we are grateful to every veteran who has ever served our great country.
On behalf of Senator Campbell and Representative Biederman, we would like to present a small token of our esteem and the esteem of your state and your nation. We have a flag that was flown over the capital of the great state of Texas. Thank you again for your service. Thank you for all that you have done for our nation. May God bless America. May God bless Homes for Our Troops, our great state of Texas, our troops, and our amazing veterans. Thank you so much and welcome home.
We cannot do the work that we do at Homes for Our Troops without the help and support of our corporate partners. Our next speaker, HEB is one of our regional corporate partners, and their coffee brand Cafe Ole again has fully furnished this home for the Monreal family. Please welcome our next speaker, Public Affairs Specialist, Johnny Mojica.
Good morning. How are y'all doing today? Good. Well, my name is Johnny Mojica, and I'm with HEB. It's so great to be here with you all in Spring Branch, Texas. And we are happy to have many of you who are joining us today virtually through the Zoom webinar. So thank you all for joining us today. Today, we're here to show our profound appreciation to you, U.S. Army, Gabriel Monreal, and your family for your service and sacrifice to our country. Thank you. At HEB, we feel it is our duty to support the brave men and women serving in the U.S. Armed Forces, many of which are our HEB partners, our customers, friends, and family, through a program we call HEB Operation Appreciation. As we recognize the sacrifice of our veterans and their families, we're humbled to reach a special milestone today, and we could not be happier to celebrate the dedication of our 30th ultra-accessible, mortgage-free home to you, U.S. Army Staff Sergeant Gabriel Monreal, and your family. And while this is our 30th home build, as part of HEB Operation Appreciation, it is our first home to be funded in part by our Cafe Ole by HEB commemorative collection line, which we set aside 35 cents from each purchase of this package to make a donation to the beautiful home standing behind me today. Joining me is Jeff Ogan, Business Development Manager at HEB and the partner responsible for leading our Cafe Ole effort. Please join me in welcoming and sharing our thanks to Jeff Ogan, not only for his service to our country, but for making today possible. Jeff, thank you. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank our incredible partner, Homes for Our Troops, who is deeply committed to honoring our nation's heroes by building homes and rebuilding lives. So thank you, Tom and Q, and the rest of your team for the incredible work that you continue to do for our veteran community. One more thanks. Yeah, thank you. One more thanks is due to our very talented interior designer, Kate O'Brien, who knows just how to make a house really feel like a home. So Kate's standing in the back there, so thank you, Kate. Now, Monreal family, we all owe you a great debt of gratitude as we stand here today to express our sincere thanks as evidenced through this relatively small gift of this home as compared to the sacrifice that you and your family have made for each of us, which is why we at HEB want to step further to fully furnish your home, and we cannot wait for you to see how everything looks. And to Rachel, you not only have or share an incredible name like my mom, but thank you for being an inspiration beyond measure. Our thanks also extends to you for being an example of family commitment and the endurance to those you love. We hope this home blesses you, lightens your load in little ways that make you smile. Thank you to the entire Monreal family for reminding us of the real strength of America, committed families that are strong enough to assume the call and the burden to maintain this great democracy. On behalf of the 120,000 partners at HEB, We offer our sincere thanks and appreciation for the service and sacrifice you've made on our great country. So for that, we thank you and welcome home. Congratulations.
Okay, up next is our national corporate partner. They provide all the cabinets in our homes across the country. Please welcome the owner and CFO of Oakcraft Elegant Cabinetry, Charlie Weiser.
Thank you very much. I just want to let you all know that basically our company is about 320 employees. The sacrifice the Monreal family makes and all the other soldiers, it allows 125 family members to have a living and a way to raise their families. So we thought about it. We wanted to make sure that we came out this time because I met you two at the selection committee. And I'm going to steal a little bit from Tom here. I've always heard, it's about not just the soldier, it's about the caregiver, the family members, and the family. And I've been able to watch them on Facebook and see their family, and it really touches our heart at Oakcraft to see their family grow and to also watch them get their new home. And it is beautiful. Great job on the decorations. But I just wanted to say thank you in person and congratulations on your new home.
Okay, our next speaker is the HFOT board ambassador. He is always fired up about homes for our troops and our mission, and he needs no introduction at all. Please welcome Lieutenant General Rick Lynch.
Well, thank you for that, Q, and you're absolutely amazing, by the way. Every time I see you do your thing, I'm more inspired, so thank you for your excitement, your enthusiasm, your passion. A round of applause for Q. None of this happens without her. Did have the privilege of serving the United States Army for 35 years. 30 of those years married to that good-looking blonde back there. We moved 27 times. We were apart 13 years. We had 4 years, me deployed into combat operations. When we left the military in January of 12, we said, we're going to spend the rest of our lives helping our nation's heroes, our veterans, and our first responders. So we've aligned ourselves with a lot of great nonprofits, a lot of great organizations, but two I want to highlight here. The first is Homes for Our Troops, led by my friend, Brigadier General Tom Landermeyer, and it is phenomenal what they've done. I mean, Q talked to you about how many homes they've built across the nation, how many projects they have in place right now. It's phenomenal. And during this pandemic, they didn't slow down. They just continued to do what needed to be done for our nation's true heroes. So a round of applause again for Homes for Our Troops. And in January of 12 or so, Craig Boyan, who's the president of HEB, asked Sarah and I to come to lunch, and he said, hey, we as an organization, we really want to start a program that would show our veterans and their families and active duty and their families across the great state of Texas how much we appreciate what they do. And that's how we launched Operation Appreciation. And oh, by the way, they do a lot more than just support home builds. As Johnny said, this is their 30th home they supported. A lot of the folks in the audience are living in a home that was supported. The build was supported by HEB, but they support the families of the fallen. They support our military children. They support the USO. It is magnificent what they do. If there's a company nationwide who truly cares, at the top of that list is HEB. So I'm hoping that all of us acknowledge that. And oh, by the way, on behalf of Craig Boyan, I hope you shop at HEB as well. Yeah. Now we're a nation at risk. I want to make sure you realize that because the national media candidly is a national embarrassment. They don't really tell you what's going on in the world. But we are a nation at risk. We got external threats like Russia and Iran and North Korea and ISIS, and they hate us and they hate our way of life. And they continue to modernize and improve, preparing for the next attack against the United States of America. And unfortunately, we have internal threats. like domestic terrorism, like divisive people, and unbelievable lack of respect for law enforcement personnel. So I'm worried about our nation. You know, I'm at the point in my life where Sarah and I have not just kids, but grandkids. I worry about the future of our nation given current situation. So I'm going to render two groups of thanks. And then I'll zero in on this American hero and his family right here. The first is our nation's first responders. I mean, every day they get up and they put themselves at risk. Every day they get up and not real sure that you're going to come home that night. And I just got to tell you, I don't think we give them the gratitude we should. So again, a round of applause for our nation's first responders, both the military and the firefighters. And please make it a point to tell them thank you when you see them, right? Make it a point to tell them thank you. In combat on 4 occasions, like many of us in the room, I knew when I was at risk during that specified period of time, but our police officers, our firefighters at risk every single day, and just know how much we appreciate it. And then we got to concentrate on our veterans, especially today, Veterans Day. Now, we as a nation have 17.4 million living veterans, and that's less than 7% of our population. I mean, less than 7% of our population. 40 years ago, the veteran population was 20% of the population of America. Now it's less than 7% because less than 1% of us serve our nation in uniform at any one time. Remember, we haven't had a draft since 1973, but we continue to have a strong military because people are volunteering to serve. So we spend a lot of time with the Gary Sinise Foundation focused on our World War II veterans, and there's only about 320,000 of those remaining. We spend time focused on our Korean War veterans as well. There's about 2 million of those, but we spend a lot of time and a lot of passion focused on our Vietnam era veterans. Because here's what happened. I mean, I went to war on 4 occasions. When I came back, like all the other veterans, recent veterans in the room, you get off an airplane, you walk to the airport, you can't walk 3 feet without somebody stopping you and say, thank you for your service. And we hear that all the time. But our Vietnam era veterans didn't get that. When they came back, they had to change out of their uniform in the nearest bathroom because they were afraid of being attacked or spat on by an ungrateful American public. And that's a national embarrassment that we have to work through every day. So I never make it a point. I always make it a point to never forget to recognize specifically our Vietnam era veterans. So if you served our nation during the Vietnam era, please stand up to be recognized. God bless you. And then I want to zoom in on an American hero, Sergeant First Class Gabe Monreal. But sir, I'm going to talk to the most important people first, and then I'll get around to you. And that's the family, right? We as a nation, we are doing a pretty good job recognizing the service member, but not so good recognizing the family of the service member. So Rachel, God bless you. You're an American hero, right? You're an American hero, and you kids, what you did is phenomenal in the support of your dad. We got to make it a point to recognize that. So ma'am, God bless you. Thank you for your service, and thank you for your sacrifice as well. God bless you. And I'm not worthy to address this particular American hero, but I will give it my best. Again, we haven't had a draft since 1973. Everybody who's serving our nation uniform now has volunteered. And oh, by the way, they volunteered while our nation was in multiple wars. And they were sitting at home at some point in their life and they were watching TV, and what they were seeing was the most recent explosion or the most recent death in Iraq or Afghanistan, and they had a choice. They could have put down the remote and gone off and done something else, but they didn't. They chose to volunteer to serve our nation and our nation's military. And Gabe, I know you probably didn't have a lot of choice because I met your dad. And I know you come from a whole line of service members who continue to serve our nation in uniform. So I know that's true. But thank you for enlisting in our military. And Gabe did multiple deployments into harm's way. And on his 3rd deployment in Afghanistan in 2010, he was at a location where an 82 millimeter recoilless rifle round came and impacted near him and caused severe damages, to include the loss of his left leg. but he continued to soldier on, work through the healing process. I love the fact that, sir, in your video, you say that Rachel was your left leg, because none of this could happen without the support of the loved ones. They got you through difficult times. And then some folks might say, okay, well, I've had about enough. You know, I'm I could be medically discharged. I'm going to leave the military that way, but not Gabe. He said, I'm going to continue to serve. And while I was on active duty, I ran this program called Continuation on Active Duty, because we have folks that are severely injured, but they say, I want to continue to serve. And that's what this man did. That's what this man did. He continued to serve for 7 more years before he actually retired from the United States military. So, sir, you are indeed an American hero, and I'm humbled to be in your presence. And we talk about this all the time. We can never do enough for our nation's veterans, their families, and our first responders, but we can always do a little bit more. And that's what this is. This is our tribute to you and your family for your years of sacrifice, your years of service. You are all American heroes. God bless you all. Thank you.
Okay, our next speaker is someone who knows Gabe very well. Please welcome his oldest son, Matthias Monreal. Thank you.
Hello, as she said, my name is Matthias Monreal. I'm the oldest son of Gabriel Monreal and the second oldest of these 4 siblings right here. I'm sorry, I'm a little shaken up right now. This is an incredibly amazing event that's going on. Everyone that's been speaking so far has almost brought me to tears. I happen to be the sensitive one in the family. So, happy Veterans Day to begin to everyone. Thank you to all the men and women who have served. Thank you to the Home for Our Troops. Thank you to HEB and all the sponsors and organizations that donated to make this event possible. I've loved every second of it so far. If I'm going to be honest, I did not expect this kind of outcome to happen. It has been about 10 years since the tragic event had happened, and we have all been affected by this event, negatively and positively. There had been hard moments for me in my part, knowing that I almost lost my father. But it was also knowing that he was here and still able to teach me, to see me grow, that was what was brought me back. He was able to teach me how to be strong, how to be smart, many other things that I wouldn't be able to have learned without him. I had once asked him a couple years ago that if he could ever turn back time and prevent this event from happening, if he ever would. And he told me no, that mostly everything that's happened ever since then has been nothing but a blessing. We've gotten to meet many new people, many different organizations that have been incredibly wonderful and helpful. And we honestly wouldn't be here without without that happening. One thing that has always sat with me is a promise that I made a long time ago when I was about 6 or 7 when we lived in Georgia. I used to love to race my dad to a small mailbox in the corner of our street. As a 6 to 7-year-old racing a man in the military, it was obvious that I lost all the time. So one night I had promised to myself that I would one day be able to beat him in a foot race. But I know that now things have changed, so that promise most likely will not happen. He can still run, but things feel different now. Even though that may have changed some things, there are still things that did not change, and that's the fact that he was able to see each and every one of us grow and set our own achievements that made us stick out in the Monreal name. There is no other man that deserves this as much as he does. Even though I'm becoming more of an adult and more independent, I know for a fact I still have a lot to learn from him. We love you, Dad, and thank you all for coming.
Thank you, Matthias. At
At this time, I would like to turn the ceremony over to the President and CEO of Homes for Our Troops, Brigadier General Retired Tom Landwehrmeyer.
Thanks, Q, and thanks to everybody for coming out again. Happy Veterans Day. Couple of groups I want to highlight. I sit over there with my pen a lot because as you go through several of these speakers, you cross some things off, and there's absolutely no pressure going behind the son and in front of the father, none at all. But I get to cross a few things off over there, and I try not to double tap anything. But there are two things that I will today, and I'll get to that in just a second. But first, I know we got some of our HVOT veterans here today, and if you got a minute, we're going to go around, raise a flag, cut a ribbon, get them in their home, and then 10 by 10, we can bring people into the house a little at a time to take a look at it. But if you get a chance to stop and talk to some of these other veterans that I spoke to earlier this morning, I know we got Army Sergeant Alex and Val Seguridan, and they're an active project. They're sitting right back there. Army Staff Sergeant Michael and April Loggy, and they got their home in June last year, 19. Happy birthday, Marine Corps Travis Eccles. September of 17. Hubert and Fiona Gonzalez, Marine Corps Sergeant. Got theirs in September of 18, and the Loggies and Gonzalez just live right down the road. So it's a short walk down here. I know there's probably some more out there that I didn't get a chance to speak to today, and I'll apologize afterwards when I get caught up to you. Thin Blue Line. I know General Lynch mentioned it, but I always give a shout out to you, to that group, because just like he said, every single day, every minute of the day, you never know what's coming. It's a lot different from our line of work, but every single day. So God bless you, and there's a whole lot of us around here and around the country that have got your back. Thank you. Vietnam veterans again. Sorry, sir, I got to say it again, but you know, our country didn't get it right when you came home, but there have been generations since, and we know what right looks like because you helped teach us that, and we're never going to let that happen again. God bless you. We love you, and welcome home. Cafe Olay at HEB. HEB continues to be just the gift that keeps on giving, a great partnership we've had over the years. Can't get enough from them. They're just always so generous in what they do. You'll see when you go inside this house. And to Kate, I've said this to Winnell a few times before, that I don't know what gene God gives designers that allows them to take words and turn it into a home, so that when people go through the front door, they go, oh, this is perfect. This is just how I imagined it. But ladies like that have it, and it's a God-given talent. Thank you so much. So Q hit our mission pretty well. I won't mention that, but there's a couple things unique about Homes for Our Troops. One is the veterans tell us where they want to live, and then we find the land, bounce it off of them, make sure that's okay with them. Find a terrific custom home builder in the area like Matt and his crew, and then we build them a home from the ground up. So Gabe and his family have chosen to live right here. The second is that we stay in contact with our veterans after we give them the keys. We don't just put another notch in our belt or a mark on the tote board and keep moving. We stay in contact. First, we promised them a quality home, and we're going to stand by it. I don't expect there's going to be any quality issues, but I know if there are, that man right back there and his team will take care of them, because that's the way his family works. The second is our homes have more than 40 special adaptations in them, and we always want feedback on those adaptations to make sure we got it right. So we got to keep in contact with them to see what we got right, what we didn't get right, what we need to adjust, and what we might need to add. And lastly, most importantly, our tagline is building homes, rebuilding lives. Most important part of that is rebuilding lives, and we want to stay in contact because we know they're going to have some tremendous successes, especially this family. I know it in my heart of hearts, and we want to be there to celebrate those successes with them. But we also know that the family will be faced with some challenges over time. There's going to be some things that go on, some roadblocks come up or some dips in the road, and we want to help them through those. So we want to maintain contact, and if there's something we can do or an organization we can put them in contact with, we will. But that's why we stay in contact with our veterans. So why the need for an adapted home? These veterans, as you meet them, as you look at them and see, we deal with the most severely injured, the post 9/11 era. So that means missing limbs, digits, burns, paralysis, blindness, all sorts of different injuries. But the places that they currently live in could be two-story, have steps in them, stairs inside, narrow hallways, narrow doorways, you name it. It's basically, it's not a completely safe place for them to live, recover, and rehab. And it certainly isn't fully accessible. So what they end up doing is depending on spouse, caregiver, or family members to help them complete some things, even though they don't want to, but they end up needing some assistance to do some of those daily things that we all take for granted. From getting up in the morning, taking a shower, getting dressed, going to work, coming back, relaxing, anything during the day, anything you want to talk about, getting something to drink, some food. They have challenges with some of that. And so in the end, what they've done is they've sacrificed their freedom and independence for all of us so that we can continue to enjoy the freedoms we do every day. And your home shouldn't be full of challenges. Your home ought to be your place of respite. Mine is. I like to go home. I can relax. Gabe needs the same thing. And he's going to be, all these veterans are going to be recovering and rehabbing for the rest of their lives. It's not over. And they need a place like this. So Homes for Our Troops home, it's about 2,800 square feet. It's 4-bedroom, 2-bath. More than 40 special adaptations inside of an energy efficient home. And it is completely safe and 100% accessible. When Gabe comes home from work in the afternoon, if you want to, pop his prosthetic off, jump in his chair, and he can get anywhere in that home. Matter of fact, you can do a 360 anywhere in that home in a wheelchair. They can now do the things for themselves that they were having to rely on other people to help them out with. So it's restored their freedom and independence. And as a result, it's reduced the stress and the burden on our caregivers, spouses, and family members. More than 90% of our veterans tell us after moving into their home that it's restored some or much of their freedom and independence. And also our veterans, more than 95% say after moving into their home that the stress and burden on the household, across the household, has gone down. So lots of good stuff come out of those homes to enable them to rebuild their lives. Q hit a bunch of numbers. One number she didn't mention was we averaged 20 to 25 completed homes a year. Back in Taunton, Massachusetts, where our headquarters is and our 60+ staff are located, that doesn't always seem like a lot to us until you step back from it and you really take a look at completing 25 homes across the country is a pretty big deal. But with all the numbers that Q was talking about, another 100 in a process of applying for our program, and in the more than 1,000 more that are out there that could qualify for our program, you do the math with 25 a year, we got a lot of work to do. I always leave every place I speak with 3 ways that you can help, because everybody's always asked me, how can I help? The first way is what you're doing today. What the folks that are Zooming in with us are doing is wrapping their arms around this veteran and family, welcoming them home. Remember, they chose to live here in Spring Branch. So you got a great family. The second thing I always let everybody know is we don't spend a lot on advertising. Since our inception in 2004, almost 90 cents of every dollar has gone to our one program, building these homes. So we just don't spend a lot. We keep our overhead low. So if everybody here today and everybody on the Zoom would go back and over the next few days, just take 5 people, be it friends, family, coworkers, folks at church, at the Legion, wherever it may be. Tell them about the organization that you ran in today, what we do, but most importantly, who we do it for. That would really help us out on the awareness side because we're a grassroots awareness organization. And last, if you got the capacity, Q mentioned it, donate, fundraise, we can always use volunteers. But today is a key ceremony, and I'm the last one between you and Gabe and then giving this home away, so I'll be quick because General Lynch always does me a favor and pretty much gives the background of our veteran so I don't have to repeat it, and I appreciate that every time. One thing I will tell you, he was serving with the 101st when he went down range, second of the 327th, and they're called the No Slack Battalion. Our chairman of the board, General Cody, was a former division commander of the 101st. And when I was talking to him yesterday, I mentioned to him about the key ceremony today, and he wanted to make sure that I told that No Slack NCO that he's really proud of you. All right? All right. You thought I was going to say something bad, didn't you? Gabe's working full-time, as is Rachel. Two of the kids are in college, one at UT, one at Texas State. Two more I know headed that way, and that's when I said, I don't know what all this family is going to accomplish in the next several years, but I can't wait to see because I know they're destined for greatness. Went out with two of the kids and mom and dad last night. Wonderful, wonderful, close-knit family that Spring Branch has, another one of our group. And you're gonna have to keep up with them. They aren't sitting back. They aren't waiting for things to come to them. They don't feel entitled. They're gonna work for everything they get, but they are a close-knit family, and I have it on good authority that tonight there's gonna be the regular weekly family movie night, but right here in this new home. So without any further ado, on this Veterans Day of 2020, I am very proud and humbled to introduce you to you, Army Sergeant First Class Gabe Monreal.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. So I'm going to start off by saying just a little bit about myself. So I consider myself a pretty hard guy, but I'm very emotional, so I'm going to cry like 1,000 times, just putting it out there. I cry at the end of Rudy every time, and I cry at the end of Short Circuit, so that's just me. All right, so just keeping you guys aware. I want to thank everybody for coming out. I want to thank all the sponsors. I want to thank all the corporate sponsors, everybody who lend a hand, family members of those personnel as well, everybody who, from the person that laid on this sod in person that picked up the broom to, brush off this, sweep off the carport here, from the bottom of my heart and from my family as well. We want to thank you guys very much. Our country derives off of two type of people, those personnel that are not afraid to work, to pick up that shovel, and the other person is the person that's not scared to pick up that rifle to fight for our freedoms and for our country. So thank you very much. Brief bio about myself. Joined the Army in 27 October 1997. Wanted to be an infantryman growing up, and my father was a paratrooper with the 101st as well, so that's all I heard, stories growing up, so naturally I wanted to be a paratrooper and a grunt when I grew up. So as soon as I graduated college, off I went to be a grunt. I loved every second of it. There's some times where I ask myself what the heck I'm doing here, but I think that's any other job. Did several deployments, did a couple of deployments to Iraq, did a couple of deployments to Afghanistan. Was wounded on 24th August 2010 while serving as a platoon sergeant with the 101st Airborne Division, 2nd Battalion 327, no slack. Makes me very proud to say that. Just like my son stated, there's not a day goes by that I don't thank God that that day happened to me. I could either choose to live off of the negative effects that, poor me, so on and so forth. But it makes me proud in my heart that I was able to shed blood and give a body part to my country. That makes me so proud. So I would never take that day back. With the recoilless rifle, it impacted about maybe 5 meters from my location. I was very fortunate in the fact that, yeah, I lost a leg. I got a good portion of my stomach taken out, a lot of shrapnel in my thighs, shrapnel in both of my forearms. But I was fortunate in the fact that the round exploded very close to me, so a lot of the heat when that round exploded cauterized a lot of my wounds. So immediately after I was wounded, I was blessed. Not even, seconds, thousandths of a second afterwards. So that's how I choose to look at it. So I will never feel sorry for myself because I was blessed immediately afterward. My life changed. The lives of my family changed as well. The life of family and friends changed as well. But everything was for the better. I think things happen for a reason. And I am so glad that it happened every single day. I got to meet so many people along the way. I got to meet the Loggies. I got to meet the Gonzalezes, the Huberts. I got to meet so many people along the way, and I'll never forget that. And I'll get to know these people for the rest of my lives. And later on, catch me offline, and I'll tell you some stories about Loggy. He's a weird guy, but I love the Loggies to death. They're out of control. Love those guys. But both of these guys, the Gonzalezes and their families, and the Loggies especially, they did a lot for me and my family along the way. Loggy was one of the non-commissioned officers there that was kind of running the show when I first got there, and then I met Hubert as a patient, and then both sides helped mend my heart and my soul. So thank you guys from the bottom of my hearts. Barriers that we faced in our old home, I feel kind of in my heart I feel kind of silly saying this, and I can give the reason why. I'm a below the knee left side amputee. In the amputee world, if you're a below the knee the left side, that's nothing. You don't belong in this category. That's a paper cut. So I got a lot of friends who are double amputees, triple amputees, quadruple amputees, and amputees with second degree, third degree burns, so on and so forth. So in my heart, when I say I had these barriers, I kind of feel, I need you to understand this, I kind of feel silly, in comparison to these guys. So I have a lot of respect for those guys and girls. But there were some barriers that we faced. The tiny hallways, the showers is a big thing. Once you take off your prosthetic, it's already been 10 years for me, but once I take off my prosthetic, I got to remind myself that I take off my prosthetic because my body still wants to move like I have my prosthetic, and I've, fallen a couple of the times in the shower, moving around, getting up out of the couch, so on and so forth. So having a house like this, especially in the shower, it makes a big difference. I work out of state, have an RV, so I have like a little stool, and took off the prosthetic, and I had my right leg down. Well, I was gonna pick up my right leg to clean my I was gonna pick up my right leg to clean my right leg, and I forgot that my left foot is not there. So as soon as I picked it up, then I just slid off that little stool there, and Athena's looking at me like I'm crazy. So just little things like that, moving around in the yard. I mean, here, for instance, coming out of the house into the carport, I can just move around here all the way up to the road there, and just with my wheelchair if I have to. I'm a 43-year-old man. I feel pretty strong, but I'm gonna get older, and I think this house is definitely gonna help us out with that and just make things a lot easier. Some of the things that I'm looking forward to is, number one, to me, I like to be outside. I'm a yard guy, I'm a lawn guy, so the physical therapy never stops. It continues every single day. I've been out of, in a prosthetic for 10 years, but physical therapy continues every day, all day. And so having a yard like this, and my boys have no idea what's coming, but having a yard like this, and being all this stuff to do, it's physical therapy. It really is, not only physically, but emotionally and mentally as well. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start raking out all these little dirt areas, so they have no idea what's coming. But I'm excited about that. Another thing I'm looking forward to is just the openness of the home. just being able to move around, help out Rachel with whatever she needs help in. A lot of the times, you know, if I'm on the wheelchair, we got 4 kids and now they're bigger now. So just, you know, having, you know, 5 people in the kitchen trying to help mom and then myself moving around in the wheelchair, I'm kind of in the way now. So just being able to have that space to where I can still lend a hand and do, you know, dad stuff is going to be a huge thing that I'm really looking forward to. And then the shower as well. That's going to be pretty neat. Just to be able to sit down and have like a little handrail there that I can hold on to so I don't slip off, because that stuff hurts. So looking forward to that. Biggest thing, how it's going to help my family. I believe as well for myself, you know, each family member, my husband, myself and my wife, we work as hard as we can to make a better life for our kids. You know, people who are wealthy now, who are living well, either they were born into it, number one, or number two, somebody busted their butt and broke their backs along the way to get that person, that individual, to that place. And that's exactly what my wife and I want to do for us. Now, a couple of decades ago, my grandparents, my mother's parents and my father's parents, they worked as hard as they could so that their kids could grow up with electricity, you know? And then when my parents were growing up, they worked as hard as they could so I could grow up not having to be in the fields, you know? And the same thing with my wife. Her parents worked as hard as they could so she didn't have to work in the fields. And now I didn't have to work in the fields, and I'm blessed. And I thank God that we still have those personnel that do that, or else HEB wouldn't be stocked, right? And or we wouldn't have food. You know, Rachel didn't have to work in the fields, but we busted our butt along the way. And we are working as hard as we can. So number one, our kids can do whatever they want, go wherever they want, and just the sky would be the limit for them. We don't want to hand anything to them. I want them to earn it, and they are going to earn it, and they are earning it. But that's what we're trying to do. Retiring out of the service, you know, I could have got out after I was wounded, but I chose not to. Not for the red, white, and blue, not for the, you know, for the continuation of service, but there was 4 huge reasons why I decided not to get out. That's because of my kids. They're watching everything I do. They hear everything I say. So how am I going to talk to my kids and tell them in life you're going to come across deterrence, you're going to come across walls, you're going to come across bumps, you're going to come across aggressions and things that are coming against you, and what are you going to do? You know, to me, I was going to determine my future. I was going to determine what I was going to do, and not some Taliban guy who got a lucky shot. So I decided within myself that I needed to do this. I needed to continue on what I said, what I rose my right hand to do, to say that I was going to complete, and because my kids are watching me, you know, that's the biggest reason that I wanted to do that. I just want to be the example, not only talking to them and telling them of things that they need to do, but doing it themselves. And that's where they learn the most, is where they physically see you doing it. And that's an everyday thing, you know. I still look at my parents, and my parents, I follow their example. I follow the example of my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, and that's what I kind of want to do with the kiddos. And with the foot race, I want Matthias to understand it's not about, you know, beating dad. You know, it is, but the biggest thing that I wanted them to understand is what happens on the inside after that. And he won because he was able to go to bed that night and start thinking, what can I do to beat my dad? And that's the most important thing, is what starts happening on the internals. So that's what I need you guys to understand, that it's the internals. My parents raised us as the foundation. I'd like to recognize my parents real quick, please. Mom and Dad, can you please stand up? My parents are my foundation. They gave me the discipline. They gave me all the things that I needed to be successful in life. And then a couple of years later, I met my wife, and my wife is my structure. Some years later, I met my wife, and my wife is my structure. She helped remold all of my insides where I needed to be adjusted to the right, to the left a little bit, where I need to be lengthened a little bit here, and kind of so forth. That was my wife. So my wife is my structure, and she is everything that holds all of my insides up together. So ladies and gentlemen, please, my wife. Plans with their new house, ladies and gentlemen, like I work away right now. I work in solar. I love my job. The op tempo of my job is very intense, but I love to work. That's how I was raised, and I couldn't do anything else. I'm in and out of Florida a lot, in and out of Hawaii a lot. We're about to start pushing into Montanas and the Colorados. But the reason I'm working is because, again, is for that life and betterment of my kiddos and for their grandsons. And this opportunity right here, this at Home for Our Troops, has given us, along with the help of HEB and yourself, sir, and everybody here, is going to help us out tremendously. This house right here is not going to affect, it's not just going to affect myself, it's going to affect my children, it's going to affect my children's children, and my children's children, so on and so forth. This affects generations, ladies and gentlemen. All right, I'm working as hard as I can to pay off this home, and this is one less thing that I have to do. I am sick and tired of being away from home, but I'll work until my hands fall off so my kids can have a good life. This is unbelievable. This affects generations and generations. And our life goal before, 3 years ago was we're going to work to the age of, whenever to make things possible. But now with something like this in our lives, it has tremendously blessed us, and it has definitely changed our lives forever and for the better. So, guys, from the bottom of my heart, again, thank you very much. Just again, I just wanted to thank Hope for Our Troops. Again, it's just unbelievable. 300 homes already being completed since 2004, with 62, correct, ma'am? 62 in progress as of right now, with 90 cents out of every dollar going to the actual organization. That's pretty unbelievable. And then just reaching out and just making everything so easy for the veteran who's being able to accept the home. Just, hey, where do you want to build it? Just point and we'll build it. That's unbelievable. So you guys are God sent. And there's one bigger thing in my heart that's happening more importantly than us getting a house right now. And in my heart, the bigger thing and the most important thing right now is just Americans doing something for a fellow American. And that's unbelievable. So again, guys, I love you all from the bottom of my heart, and thank you so much for coming out.
This concludes this portion of the ceremony. We will now head over to the flagpole where the Monreal family will raise the American flag over their new home for the first time.
So as you mentioned in our mission, we don't see what we do as charity. It's really the moral obligation of the citizens of our country to repay in just a very small portion of a debt that can never be completely repaid for these troops and their families. So on behalf of the citizens of the United States, I want to present you with ceremonial key to your new home. Take a quick photo and then we'll cut the ribbon. There you go. All right, cut that thing. Okay.
The camera people
So what we got is what I refer to as a pregnant pause, where we get folks with cameras and stuff on the inside so they can capture the reveal.